Hi there. Come on in. It is Thursday night, March 29th, the year 2001. March is coming to an end. Do I hear any objections out there? I don't think so. I'm going to open up this show with a feature that I call the Splendor of March. Oh, such a beautiful month. Later in the program, I'll show you what the CCW class is all about and explain to you why this new concealed weapons law is not what you think it is. Stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. I'll explain this from the perspective of a practical sportsman.
I want to take a minute to talk about caliber because it mentions it at this point in the book.
Well, according to the calendar, spring is here. But according to what I see outdoors, it's just another sloppy end to another gruesome month of March. A few years ago, I put together a little ditty that I call the Splendor of March. I guess you could say it's a tribute to a month that fortunately is coming to an end. The month of March. What splendor! The beauty of gray skies, gray ice that won't hold a human being for more than a second or two. The air is humid, and on a 30-degree day, it feels like zero. You can walk along the shorelines of our southern lakes. The shore ice is melting. The ice is rotting. Ice fishing, well, that's out of the question. So let's walk in the woods. The brown woods. No leaves, no grass, gray sky, a lot of dirt, melting snow. Dirt turns to mud. What can a person do with the splendor of March? Yeah, the trouble with March is that it's not really the beginning of spring. It's the end of winter. I mean, the good activities are coming up next month, the month of April. A lot of fishing activities start breaking loose. Turkey hunting starts April 23rd. The turkeys right now, in case you're wondering, they're out gobbling right now. That leaves the toms out there who we can call. We make calls like a hen turkey, and the toms come running in. As the season goes on, they're looking for the last of those hens that are hot to trot. But right now, it was the third week in March when a fellow took a home video of a turkey responding, showing you what the toms are doing right now. The gobble of a wild turkey is exciting by itself, but to see a big tom turkey up close when it's displaying and gobbling, oh man, that's a real treat. Dr. Errol Heitman from West Olive grabbed his home video recorder when he spotted this big tom in the woods behind his house. Now this was on a Sunday morning, the third week in March. Tom turkeys puff up their feathers and strut. They're trying to attract hens in March. See, this is the breeding season. They display, they gobble. When they're excited, their heads and necks turn bright red and bright blue. Those are the colors of a big breeding tom. It's really cool to see the steam backlit in the sunlight shoot out when that big boy gobbles. Watch this. Dr. Heitman doesn't pretend to be a turkey calling champ, especially when he's trying to roll video at the same time, but turkeys are easily fooled by turkey calls, especially early in the breeding season. That pattern of calling isn't exactly what they teach in the seminars, but it strikes a response with a hot gobbler. Sometimes getting a gobbler to answer seems all too easy. I am really looking forward to turkey season this year because I'm not going to be videotaping it for this show. And I'll get all hyper about that. I just figure it's my turn to go out there and turkey hunt. I have a permit for the second season. I'm going up in the Upper Peninsula. Got some great guides lined up, and I'm going to have some fun. Now, you will see turkeys and turkey behavior and turkey hunting on this show because I have lots of footage in the library that I've taken over the years. Plus, some great home videos that I guess the outdoor television host wannabes sent in. I mean, it's great stuff, better stuff than I could get in an average year because they find the really unusual things and send them to me on tape. Well, every day isn't a bum day in March. It just seems like we have a lot of them. But there are some good days when fishermen get out and they do catch trophy fish. In fact, more and more trophies are caught each week as we head towards summer. More and more species are being reported. And, it's getting kind of exciting. Well, how do I know? Well, I checked our Marbles Fishing Awards database. I looked in 1999 for the same week that we have coming up right now. Checking the week from March 28th to April 4th, one trophy of each of the following 7 species were reported: a bowfin, a burbot, a Great Lakes brown trout, a carp, a long-nosed sucker, a Menominee whitefish, and a red horse sucker. Now there were 7 trophy walleye and 16 trophy white suckers. Now that's a typical mix of trophy fish for this coming week. Most of the first 7 came from the west side of the state. The bowfin or dogfish was caught by Rom Rumpowski from Ada, got it in Muskegon Lake. The burbot, a 29-incher, was caught by Stan Canazes from Mansalona, came from Torch Lake in Antrim County. Now this is a really nice picture of a Menominee whitefish. 20 inches long, 2 pounds 5 ounces. Lee Daniel from Ludington got it up in his neck of the woods. Great Lakes brown trout, also from the Ludington area, caught by Dick Hoffman from Freeland. The 7 walleyes submitted for Marbles Awards came from the east side. Most of them came from the Detroit River area, including these. Jim Pixley from Lyons holds an 11-pound 8-ouncer. Pete Bensky from Detroit got an 11-pound 9-ouncer. Heidi Sims from Brownstown Township landed an 11-pound 11-ouncer. Jeff Smith from Freeland pulled up an 11-pound 12-ouncer. And Pat Cook from White Lake got a 13-pound 4-ouncer from the Detroit River. The big ones are starting to be caught right now. Now let's take a look at the sucker run. This was the peak week for trophy suckers. According to our data, people of all ages catch suckers, ranging from 3-year-old Dane Helmus from Holland, with a white sucker from the Macatawa River in Ottawa County. His brother up in the corner looks on with envy. Older guys catch suckers too. Gail Penanzak from Bentley got a 3.5-pounder from the Rifle River in Aranac County. You'll never guess the bait. He caught it on earplugs. Those little foam things for shooting? That's different. And leading into our trophy tale is the father of an upcoming Hall of Fame sportsman. Bill Wynn from Jenison catches a few trophy suckers himself. Last week I showed you some footage of what Bill likes to do at the end of March. Take his son and his nephew sucker fishing on the Grand River. And they catch lots of trophy suckers. And in recent years, Ryan Wynn has branched out with his trophy fishing success. Ryan Wynn and his dad Bill have come to these banquets for years and years, ever since Ryan was real little. Now he's getting a lot more fish, a lot bigger fish, a lot different species. He's got 2 black buffalo, which qualified, 2 red horse suckers, 13 white suckers up to 23.5 inches, and 2 largemouth bass. Is this the biggest?
I caught a 1/4 inch. I caught 2 bass that were a 1/4 inch bigger last year.
So you're getting all your big bass mounted.
I threw back 1 this year and 1 last year.
Okay, but didn't you have a couple mounted from last year?
Yeah, I had 2 of them mounted.
Wow. You're getting quite a trophy room together.
Oh, yeah.
And you got your first deer this year, didn't you?
No, this is I got 3 of them this year.
I thought you were just a regular kid going fishing with his dad, and I find out you're getting to be the great hunter.
I'm an addict.
You're an addict,
Yeah.
huh? Heck of a deal. Well, there's nothing wrong with being addicted to fishing and hunting at all. And I understand there's a story behind the black buffalo, the big carp-like fish.
Oh, yeah. In the springtime when the water floods over in the Grand River, the black buffalo and carp, they come into the river and spawn and lay their eggs. And the water gets really high, and it got really high this year. And it went over the road, so I was standing on the road about water up to my waist. And I could see the yellow line pretty good along the black asphalt, So here came this object along the yellow line, and I pulled back and I drew, shot it.
Got that black buffalo when it crossed the yellow line. Don't cross the line with Ryan Wynn. The man is on. Congratulations, Ryan. Really getting to be the sportsman. Well, everybody knows that catching the fish is the important thing to a trophy fisherman. But you know, how you present that fish, especially if you send a photo in for this TV show, could make a lot of difference. Ryan Wynn illustrates a technique here on how to make that trophy fish look really good. Oh, well.
Nice
Picture?
Oh, yes.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now hold it. Don't hold it back out there, Ryan. I want to show from the side. No, go ahead. Put that back out there how you had it. Look at that. Look at that. Now let's see what difference it makes here. Now, okay, now go ahead and pull it back in close to you. Oh, got a lot smaller. Push
Really?
it back out there again. That's the way it's done. A couple weeks ago, attorney Toby White and I attended the personal protection class, the type of class that's required, or will be required as of July 1st for anyone who applies for a concealed weapons permit. Now, this whole thing about the concealed weapons permit, the newspapers have it wrong, anti-gun people have it wrong, and I think a lot of sportsmen have it wrong too. They just don't understand what it's about. This class fortunately explains not only some aspects of gun handling and safety that are very important, but a lot of the class dwells on the laws that pertain to owning, transporting, and using guns in Michigan for all kinds of reasons, especially personal protection. Quite enlightening class it was. And let me go through the class, and then I want to explain to you some things about this new law that I'm willing to bet you don't understand.
Next is caliber. I want to take a minute to talk about caliber because it mentions it at this point in the book.
The class I took in preparation for applying for the new concealed weapons permit is the NRA Personal Protection class that meets all the qualifications of the Michigan statute. Naturally, a part of the class is about guns themselves.
So I don't care what kind of gun you take. I don't want it pointed at me. I don't want somebody shooting me. But I need to tell you about caliber so you can make an intelligent choice for yourself.
John Speck, the certified NRA instructor, says education is your best shot.
I mean, I don't think anyone here wants to go to prison for one day, let alone up to 15 years. No one here is really going to...
Mike Clarizio, the assistant prosecutor for Clinton County, spent a couple hours explaining the law, self-defense, and why shooting someone is legal trouble no matter what the circumstance.
He decided that he took a good look at the CCW program as it is in this county, and it's pretty much a county-by-county operation. And he decided that just the way it was set up, it was inherently unfair.
Sergeant Bob Stipple of the Clinton County Sheriff's Department explained the changes in the process of getting a CCW and also explained how the new CCW is not like the old one. He discussed ways of avoiding armed confrontations because shooting somebody is not the purpose of carrying a concealed weapon. But there's no point in having a gun if you don't know how to shoot it accurately, carry it safely, and the responsibilities that go with it.
All ready to right, all ready to left. Commence firing!
90% of the class was learning about the law, about responsibility and liability. We had a written test and a firearms test to make sure we were familiar with the basics. That class was fun. It was extremely interesting. But there's something about that class, though, that distressed me greatly. And I have the same attitude that, Toby White has and other people who have taken the class. We're not really sure whether this is one step forward or one step forward and 3 steps back. What we're losing by this new CCW law, by being able to get a permit easily, at least if you qualify and you don't have a criminal record and so on, what you're getting with this permit is not what we thought we were going to get. We thought we were going to get the general permit, the one where you can carry most every place and not worry about being apprehended. Well, that's not the way this new law works. There is no more general permit after July 1st. I don't think the anti-gun people understand what the restrictions are with this new statute. See, right now, the law says, the statute says that you can carry a handgun. If you qualify, if you're of sound mind and you can possess a gun, you can carry it in public areas, except for the law specifically says there are 8 areas where you cannot carry. Banks, churches, courts, theaters, sports arenas, daycare centers, hospitals, or any establishment licensed under the Liquor Control Act. Now, these location restrictions do not apply under current law to the 22,000 people who have what's called the general CCW, permit to carry concealed weapons. And here's the bite. After July 1st, those 22,000 people are going to lose their general permits. They will not be able to carry in those 8 locations. Nobody will. And the definition of those 8 locations is quite broad. For example, a sports arena, we're not just talking about Joe Louis or the Silver Dome. We're talking about places where games are played, competitive games. I mean, we're talking about some new definitions and penalties that go with this law that are frightening. I mean, if you're a law-abiding person who gets this liberalized CCW and you inadvertently go into one of these locations or travel through or pass through and get caught, believe me, the penalties will make your head spin. When Ted Nugent finds out that he can't carry his handgun in the places he's been carrying them for years, the places he works, the places he goes, I don't think he's going to be a happy camper. I think the 22,000 people who have the existing general permits, many of them for self-protection, are going to find themselves with less protection. And I think those of us who think we're going to be getting a general permit are going to be not only disappointed with the restrictions of what we get, but will be frightened by the penalties of violating this permit, even if it's a mistake. There's a lot of concerns here, folks, but let me tell you one thing. The CCW law, no matter whether you're pro-gun or anti-gun, is not what you think it is. I will take questions. The last time I shot a round of clays was at Orchard Hill at the polar bear shoot. That was at the end of January. Oh man, it was cold. And I promised the shooters there that if anybody beat me, I'd run their names on this show. Well, I won second place in Class B. I beat 37 shooters that day, but 28 shooters beat me. And as promised, their names are listed on the screen. Well, not that it's any great accomplishment to beat me. I do enjoy shooting for fun, and I know people like a pat on the back for their accomplishments. So I will list the names on a future show of the fellows and gals who beat me this Saturday.
Right. You don't need to hurry it. Atta girl. That was better pace. You're just a little bit high on the second target.
Okay.
And here's a little preview on what's coming up next week on this show. Now that we're into the month of April, it's time to get ready for that open water lake fishing that's around the corner. But are the hooks sharp on all your lures? And do you know how to sharpen them? Should the hooks on your jigs be straight or bent? Well, Professor Finns has the answers. Get ready for spring fishing this coming week. Same time, same station, right here on Public TV.
Thumb on one side and the forefinger on the other. You can feel the bites that graphite.
I'm looking forward to my first fishing trip of this season with my new 2001 fishing license. It's going to be on the Captain Nichols, but not this Saturday. That's when they start the trips for 2001. I mean, this is the best time of year to catch those big jumbo perch. It's a little chilly, so you got to dress warm. But I'm going to be shooting sporting clays this weekend. I'm going to be on the Captain Nichols as soon as I can arrange it. And I'm looking forward to warmer weather, though. I'm sure you are, too. Make sure you have fun this weekend. I want to see you back here next week. Gobbling? Oh, man, that's a real treat. Dr. Errol Heitman from West Olive grabbed his home video recorder when he spotted this big tom in the woods behind his house. Now this was on a Sunday morning, the third week in March. Tom turkeys puff up their feathers and strut. They're trying to attract hens in March. See, this is the breeding season. They display, they gobble. When they're excited, their heads and necks turn bright red and bright blue. Those are the colors of a big breeding tom. It's really cool to see the steam backlit in the sunlight shoot out when that big boy gobbles. Watch this.